Hey everybody, it's your neighborhood Black girl with Endo, Jamaica, and I'm here just to talk to you about my first follow-up appointment after my surgery. I had surgery 2.5 weeks ago, and my surgeon scheduled this appointment right away. I got it scheduled the day after I had surgery, so there was no ifs, ands, or buts about the checkup, which I really like about him. If you don't have a specialist, get a specialist. Let me tell you, if you're in the DMV, you can go see Dr. James Robinson. You can go see Dr. Audlin. Both awesome, great urogynecologists who help those with endometriosis. Now, my appointment was a little bit disappointing because I happen to have developed the second most prolific type of endometriosis. The first time I had surgery back at the end of 2020, I had deeply infiltrating endometriosis of the rectum and uterus, and they had to take it out. It resulted in a lot of different things. It ended up actually resulting in my needing this second follow-up surgery. This surgery was actually kind of a cleanup surgery from that first surgery. Like I said, had deeply infiltrating endometriosis, so they removed it all. It had been accumulating over many years, and so there was a lot to remove, but that also meant that there was a lot of scar tissue. That scar tissue formed and fused two of my organs together. They went in and they unfused them. The organs were my uterus and my rectum. It was causing me a lot of pain. And I'm still in a lot of pain, but that's actually just because I'm healing, not because my organs are fused together. So progress. Now, because I also had fibroids, I have many different conditions. That sounds sickly. Anyway, I also had fibroids, and I had a fibroid that was going into my abdominal wall. And so they took it out, but it resulted in my abdominal wall being weakened. And because of various reasons, that weakening caused my body to not heal properly, basically. And I developed a hernia. Now, hernias are very common. Almost everybody in life has some sort of hernia. Usually it's either umbilical or inguinal, which is in your belly button or in your groin, but you can have hernias in different places. Anyway, mine was in my belly button, and I was feeling something weird, but it didn't become a problem until they realized that there was stuff coming out of the hernia. Usually hernias are defects on the inside, and they are, isolated to the inside of your body. This was not isolated to the inside of my body. It was causing me to leak peritoneal fluid outside of my body. Great. Not so great. So anyway, I got that fixed as well. So I had two different surgeries at the same time. I had two surgeons do it, and I'm in my second week of recovery. I was excited to see that they were able to remove and repair everything. The thing that was disappointing is this. Now, part of my best life plan is that I would love to have a baby. I would love to have 3 babies if I can. Now, this is going to be tricky because the more surgeries that you have, the weaker and the more extensive they are. And I have had 2 in 2 years. I actually have had 3 in 4 years. And in order for me to have a baby, I have to have surgery. I have to have a C-section. It's not negotiable. I don't want my uterus to rupture, and I have no plans of dying to have a baby. So, there is that fact that to have a baby, and if I want 3 of them, I have to have 3 separate surgeries. And he told me that the best thing to do would be for me to have them or start to conceive as quickly as possible, meaning on week 6 I need to have a baby that is growing, so that I don't then start to develop more endometriosis. Let's get into it. So I talked to you a little bit about my deeply infiltrating endometriosis. There were some men that made that an acronym up. I'd never say the acronym, but I'm gonna put it right here, and you can tell a ridiculous acronym. Anyway, so I didn't have deeply infiltrating endometriosis during this surgery. I had a different type of endometriosis, which is called an endometrioma. And an endometrioma is a cyst on your ovary that is basically filled with endometriosis. It can be very painful, and I had had this cyst for many a time. I had imaging, and they kept saying it was a hemorrhagic cyst. when they went in and they actually did a pathology test just to make sure that none of my, things were cancerous, and they're not. They're endometriosis, which acts kind of like cancer, but is not the same in its, ability to take down and destroy humans. Now, endometriomas are problematic because their rate of recurrence is 1% every month. So say you are 1 to 2% every month. You wait a year, that means you have now gained 25% chance of your endometrioma recurring, and then it just keeps going from there. You just increase your chance. Basically, they're saying that it will recur. You'll probably need to have surgery again. And thankfully, there is a way to prevent that from happening so quickly. You can be on, hormonal suppression, which works, effectively. It doesn't work 100%. It doesn't mean you're never going to have endometriosis again, but it does mean that you won't get it in a year again and need to have surgery every year. That's not sustainable. But before they had these, treatments and therapies, it was what some women had to do. Some people with uteruses, anybody with a uterus can have endometriosis, had to do. Now, if you want to have a baby, you cannot be on hormonal suppression. So they recommend, again, that you go into natural hormonal suppression, which is pregnancy and breastfeeding. Those are the only natural ways to suppress endometriosis. They work very, very well. I think they say 99% ability to prevent new growth of endometriosis. So if you just had, endometriosis excision surgery, and you're looking to have a baby, the best time to get pregnant, he told me just now today, 10 minutes ago, is right after you're healed. Your body is ready to accept a baby. There's no inflammation, and you'll be suppressing your endometriosis in a natural way. So it's not making your endometriosis come back. Like, you're not waiting and making it so that, you'll just have endometriosis later. So no, pregnancy and breastfeeding. So you have some time after the baby, about a year, or as long as you're breastfeeding, you have at least a year, 9 months pregnant, really 10 months, my mom always says, and then breastfeeding for as long as you can or want. It's always a personal choice. But you have at least a year of reprieve before you need to think about how you're going to suppress your endometriosis, because it's a natural way to suppress it. Now, if I want 3 babies, I can maybe string it out for 5 years and say, okay, I don't need any, hormonal suppressions. I am going to just naturally suppress with pregnancy. Now, I'm worried that the pregnancies will be hard on my body and my uterus. And again, having 3 surgeries on the same organ, or one right after another, is hard. So there's that fact. I'm still kind of processing that. It is going to be an interesting ride. I'm sure that I'll document my fertility journey as a Black woman with endometriosis who has a full-time job and several side hustles. We'll see how that kind of goes. Now, I am excited that I now know that, and that I, can make plans for myself. I didn't have that type of endometriosis before, so I didn't need to consider it. My deeply infiltrating endometriosis is the most prolific type of endometriosis, and it's also the hardest to get fully rid of, and you can accidentally implant it in different ways. There's lots. I'll do a different video about deeply infiltrating endometriosis and why it can be really hard to manage. Now, the good thing about it is that it has been managed for the past, almost 2 years now. And my cleanup surgery was about this new type of endometriosis and the scarring that resulted in taking out my deeply infiltrating endometriosis. I'm hoping that with all of the planning and, but who knows what Jesus wants, I'll be able to have a baby and have a healthy one, at least one. And we'll go from there, as my partner always says. There is no reason to plan for 3 babies right now, but we should plan for one if I want to have one naturally, or, through my uterus. So much to consider. Anyway, the other thing he told me is that I can go to the beach, and so I'm telling them I'm going to the beach. So watch out for that vlog that's coming up soon. Watch out for our other Paris vlogs. I have a couple more coming out. And stay tuned for our fertility journey. Catch you next time. Thanks so much for watching. You deserve great health care. Seek it out. Don't let them take any of your life or joy away from you. Catch you next time. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.